Okay, alright. Now, definitely has a little bit wider angle. Let's turn this on for a minute so I can get a picture of that one to give you an idea what the hell we're doing here. And eventually, eventually. Oh, I need to put a card in here. What'd I do with it? I know I had it. I did. I just don't know what I did with it. Oh, I bet you I know what it is. It's in the pocket. But which pocket is it in? So here's the story, guys. This little camera doesn't seem to be too bad. However, the volume on it, the microphone kind of sucks. And there's no plug-in for another microphone. And I'm looking for the card for the other camera. Okay. I put it someplace, I just don't know where, so let me get another one. We got one in there someplace, I know I do. Here we go. And I got tons of them around, you just forget them. Alright, what I was saying earlier, because you may or may not have heard me, it's not a bad little camera for 70 bucks. You know, I mean, if this one blows up, yeah, I'd probably buy another one. However, I'm not happy with the volume. And there's no external mic plug or jack on it. Now, they did say, I thought I heard them say, that it does have a Wi-Fi connection to your phone. So is it utilizing that microphone on your phone through a Wi-Fi, or will it work through a Wi-Fi microphone? But if that's the case, now we're just spending more money, so buying a cheaper camera versus another camera, who knows at this point. I do like it though. It's small. I don't think it's going to break all that easy because it's not heavy enough to break itself if it falls. Again, the microphone. Now what I did was, the microphone is right here. I believe that's a microphone speaker. So what I did was, I don't care about the waterproof case. I drilled a little hole right there just to kind of open up that microphone, if you can see it or not. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but I did it. So, like I say, I don't care too much about the case. The case is good, so I don't, you know, if I drop it, it's got a little extra protection to it. But I don't plan on diving, and you know, I've taken my other cameras out in the rain, and they never really broke because of the rain. They break because I drop them. So I'm talking kind of loud now, only because I'm trying to get the volume on both of these to see which is which. Okay, and this one just stopped recording because I was moving around too fast. Remember I was telling you? Hold on a minute. There we go. It just stopped again because I jerked the camera. Hold on a minute. Let me get Tucker a chicken. Tucker, want a chicken? Dog food, want a chicken. I don't know if there's any more chicken in there. There's one. Hold on, we got one, buddy. We have two. There you go. Okay. Oh, you don't want chicken? What do you want? Want beef? No? Alright, so anyway, that's where we're at, kind of, with the little camera here that I think is still recording. And now I just turned the big one on again. Now this one, I think I just changed the setting on it without realizing that I did. Yeah, I did. The damn servo I have. Okay. it's got a little servo thing in there, and I changed it by mistake. So if I moved the camera too fast, it would shut down. So this one's okay, but again, I don't want to really. It's a good picture camera. The one that I'm holding in my hand now, which is the bigger one that you can see on the other camera there. So I don't want to just ruin it by taking it out there and letting it drop. If this one drops, it'll break because it's heavy enough to break itself when it drops. And then we got telemarketers going crazy today. Let's see here. Well, we just got some bad news today. Today is Friday, and it's about 1 o'clock or so, give or take. I was just programming some radios. It's 1:40. I was just programming a few radios, as you can see over here. And then there's another one over there, and another one over here. But I get a phone call from headquarters, and I just found out that my first lieutenant passed away. So at this point, I was just talking to him on Wednesday, and I had, you know, it's kind of surreal. You know, it's hard. It's one of those things. It's like hard to believe. You know, he was a good guy. You know, I mean, he was always there, but he wasn't feeling good. He called me Wednesday and said at that point that he was sick. He wasn't feeling right, and he wasn't going to make it. You know, well, that's, you know, I understand, John. Not a problem. You know, and you know, he's never missed one. You know, he was with the fire department for 60 years. Right? He was 82 years old. He was with the fire department 60 years, and never missed. Always there. But he said, I'm not going to be able to make the meeting tonight, which was Wednesday. And I said, well, John, you know, relax. Naturally, health comes first. So at that point, we had our meeting. Everything was fine. And then I did hear a call come across the pager yesterday, medical. But when I hear medical, I really don't listen, you know, to it. And his address didn't ring a bell, so it wasn't, you know, it just wasn't something I was thinking about. And today, I just got a call from headquarters. The assistant chief called to tell me that his wife wanted him to call me to tell me that he had passed away. So, and that he was at the funeral parlor making all the arrangements for the wife. So at that point, that's kind of where we're at there. Anyway, you know, I mean, it kind of sucks, you know, especially when it happens to a friend, you know, and a good guy on top of it, you know. So, I've called the second lieutenant because we have to make some changes. As harsh as it may sound, you know, I have to worry about the squad too because he was our first lieutenant. So I called the second lieutenant and I had said to him, listen, I said, this is what happened. So what we're going to do here is we have elections coming up, you know, more than likely nothing's going to change because we haven't got enough new members in yet. And before you can hold an office, you have to be in the group for a year. Now, we can always make exceptions, so that's not a big deal. However, we decided I'm going to take my second lieutenant and bump him up to the first lieutenant, which he was happy where he was. He's not one of those guys that wants the badge, you know. But we're going to bump him up to the first lieutenant, and then I'm going to take one of our members that's been with us for a year and that can handle it, and we're going to make him our second lieutenant. And we're also going to let him be the one to do all the data entry, so he can take care of all that. And you know, basically he's going to take John's place with entering the data into the system. So, but that's it. So I'm not going to get much done today, I'm sure, because I got to make a few phone calls, but I have to wait until 2 o'clock. a friend of John's, which is also with the squad, Ernie, who just had knee surgery 3 weeks ago, and he's already out walking around. He came to the meeting. Him and John have been friends, and they live about 2 blocks from one another. They've been friends for probably 40 years or better. So they don't want Ernie to find out, because Ernie's also 83 years old. But they don't want Ernie to find out, you know, what happened unless they're there. In other words, they're not going to tell them on the phone. You know, they want people to be there. So if anything happens, you know, they're there for them. So I can't really say anything to any of my members other than my first lieutenant, who I can trust. Well, my second lieutenant, which is now my first lieutenant, and George, who were stepping up into the second lieutenant. So, but meanwhile, that's it. Now, I'm also walking around with this little camera in my hand. I don't know how the volume is. I drilled a little hole in the side. I'm kind of keeping that hole to the left of me, so that the hole is in front of my mouth. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't know how it's putting up with anything here. Let me check the heat, by the way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but we got hit with some wind and rain and cold weather yesterday and today. I mean, we've had trees down and wires down and cold and, oh, miserable. So, all right, I'll be back.